I asked, what kind of social anxiety content would you like to see in the future? And almost half of you said that you would like to see something on how to get better having conversations even when you struggle with social anxiety. Coincidentally, I spoke with someone about a week ago that has a ton of experience in this subject. Who was it, you may ask? A man that, despite his crippling social anxiety, has had over 10,000 conversations with strangers. His name is Ian Chu. Can you tell which one Ian is? He's the founder of Deeper Conversations, and I want to take you through his in-depth article on how to have a conversation with anybody. If you're serious about getting better with conversations, especially if you have social anxiety, you may want to take notes here. Real quick, make sure you watch until the end because Ian himself is actually going to make an appearance in this video where he answers a very important question in which you are going to want to know the answer to. Here's the first step to starting a conversation with anybody, even if you have social anxiety. Understand what it is that's stopping you from having conversations to begin with. Some of the more common fears of starting conversations are fears of not enjoying the conversation, not liking one's partner, lacking conversational skills, fears of the partner not enjoying the conversation, and not liking oneself. I can honestly say that I used to have every single one of these fears. Looking back at it, I gave these a lot more substance than there really was to it. Science agrees, as they did a study that found people's fears are overblown. You know why? Because your thoughts and emotions are not reality. Did you know that our mind produces over 6,000 thoughts per day? You don't have 6,000 true thoughts. Not even close to that. So why are we even having so many thoughts that aren't even true? That's because we are biologically wired to notice any potential threat or danger. The key word being potential. If our brain sees something as a potential threat, we are going to prioritize anxiety-driven thoughts like, if I walk up to them and try to start a conversation, will they think I'm weird? Or if I jumble my words, will they laugh at me? With this in consideration, here's how you can start working through your social fears and your anxiety-driven thoughts. Accept your social anxiety and your self-perceived awkwardness. Typically, I don't like to use the phrase accept your social anxiety because I feel like a lot of times it gives people the thought of, oh, I just have social anxiety, give up trying to work on it. But this isn't really the case. Acceptance is actually the first step to developing social confidence because it allows you to stop judging yourself for the thoughts that you're having. If you don't accept it, you'll find yourself constantly beating up yourself for having anxiety, which creates more anxiety, and it's kind of this vicious cycle. To help you accept this part of you in which you've probably spent most of your life hating, it's important and helpful to remember this quote by this clinical psychologist. Anxiety rarely shows up in any situation where something isn't at stake. In other words, if you didn't care about what was going on, you wouldn't be anxious. Maybe you're anxious because you're caring a little bit too much about what other people think, but that's also better than the other side of the spectrum where you just don't care about anything at all. You can find a healthy balance. But what if you're not confident enough to talk to strangers yet? That's a pretty common story that people tell themselves, which keeps them from ever taking any sort of action. A lot of us have inner stories that tell us things like, I'm nervous right now, I'll just talk to them another day. Or when I'm less anxious, then I'll go talk to some strangers. The problem with these stories is that they hold us back because of how we phrase them as either this or that, instead of the more helpful and flexible phrasing of being this and that. Let's change those inner stories from before to the this and that format. I feel nervous, but I choose to go talk to my coworker today. Or even though I'm feeling a little anxious today, I choose to go talk to a stranger. You're accepting the feeling and choosing to take it on instead of using it as a crutch or excuse to not do anything about it. With practice, you can learn to think this way more automatically. Speaking of learning, you can learn to be socially confident. One of the biggest myths when it comes to social confidence is that You're either a people person or you're not. There are social skills that you can learn to get better and more socially confident. One social skill that you can start practicing today is small talk. Personally, I'm not a big fan of small talk. I've always viewed it as a way to just kind of speak words to someone, but not be able to really build a relationship. But there is a place for it. And I think Ian Chu said it best when he says small talk is the social foreplay before sex. You need small talk in order to be able to build up an engaging relationship from talking to someone. These HBR professors commented that if the goal is to build relationships, opening with less sensitive questions and escalating slowly seems to be most effective. You wouldn't want to start a conversation with something like, if you could change anything about the way you were raised, what would it be and why? A little bit too personal, right? A little bit too thought-provoking to be asking of a complete stranger with your first thing you say to them. It's much easier to start a conversation with small talk or something related to your surroundings. For example, if you're at a cafe and you're talking to the person behind you in line about coffee, that doesn't come off as unusual. This leads to the next point. If you're trying to get better at talking to strangers when your social anxiety part is highly active, it can be helpful to start with familiar strangers. Who are familiar strangers? Well, they're people that you see pretty regularly but aren't necessarily your friends. At least not yet. Here are some examples of familiar strangers. Your colleagues, co-working space members, your neighbors, fellow gym members, or fellow park goers, other regulars at your favorite cafe, restaurant, grocery store, bookstore, baristas, waiters, bartenders, store clerks, and owners, other students on campus. These people are usually a little bit easier to talk to because they're more familiar with their presence, and which makes them a little bit more receptive to chatting you up. Now that you know how to start a conversation, you may want to know how to keep that conversation going. So go take a look at my friend Ian Chu's website, deepercombos.com, because he goes into a plethora of knowledge on there, including 25 useful phrases for continuing conversation, how to make new friends, how to deepen friendships, how to nurture family ties, how to attract a girl or guy, how to gain career connections, and so much freaking more. Basically, any reason you want to learn how to make a conversation, Ian Chu has an extremely in-depth analysis on how to do that, the complete blueprint. This video in particular was taken from his post, How to Start a Conversation with Anyone, in which I'll put a link to down in the description. Before you go, let me get Ian on here as I'm going to ask him a really important question. Hey Ian, thanks for coming on. I just have one question to ask you after, going through this whole post. One question really stuck out to me. What do you think is the most common mistake socially anxious people make when it comes to starting conversations?
Hey Carl, so that's a great question. I'm not sure if there's one mistake that rules them all. If you find it, let me know, great. But I think that's a really common pattern that I've seen myself and others, and also through research that I've reviewed on social anxiety, right? It's about this need to overly plan or overly rehearse everything you say and ask. And it's coming from a place of perfectionism, right? That if I say the exact right thing, ask the exact right question, I'm gonna face reaction and have the best conversation ever, right? And it's actually a form of safety behavior, right? Where you're trying to protect yourself from the anxiety, you're trying to avoid anxiety, and it's by doing that you actually avoid the conversations, right? You're not making a connection. So the way I think about it is that just say hi, and it sounds crazy, right? So just say hi. You don't have to plan what you're gonna say, but some of the best conversations I've had, Kyle, are coming from just being friendly and just making a comment, making a gesture of wanting to connect, right? And oftentimes we underestimate how powerful they can be to just putting ourselves out there and then making an effort, right? And again, it's something that it's hard to describe the power of it. Just try it out in the next conversations.
There you have it, folks. And I think he nailed it pretty well, honestly, because I can remember doing that. I can remember when I was feeling really socially anxious and I wanted to have a conversation. I wanted to kind of push the boundary, and I would just overthink everything so much and just try to plan everything out. And the problem with that is when you do that, if something doesn't go exactly to your plan, you start going in this anxiety whirlwind. And what I find find to be best is just go in there with no plan, kind of like what he says, and just say hi and just go from there and just let the conversation flow organically. I know that sounds scary, but go do it. Go try it. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was fun to make. Thank you again to Ian Chu for letting me do a video over one of his articles and for also coming on and sharing his expertise. Ian is an awesome guy. If you guys want to go reach out to him, like I said, go to deeperconvos.com. He has so much good information there. He really should start his own YouTube channel. Also, one other quick thing. I forgot to thank you all because thank you all for everyone who has purchased my book. Seriously. Thank you so much. I've sold so many more copies than I actually thought I would. So really cool. If you haven't got the book yet, you can go to feellessanxious.com or go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble or wherever you get books and you can find it there. But yeah, once again, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support and I'll see you all next week. Peace.